it is quite amazing how many of us have gone on to work and continue to work. There was like this little group of women that, you know, we look now and we go, how is it that we're all still doing it? But I think maybe we fed off each other because it was kind of like, it was competitive, but in a good way.
Well, let's go back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
Back to the Sylvia young days. Obviously, for anyone for anyone watching or listening who doesn't know, I mean, that is the UK's most famous stage school by a long shot, isn't it? I mean, did you get international kids there as well?
Yeah, a few, but not so many. They were mainly London-based kids because it started out as a very small school. Sylvia started running it from a small church in London, and it just grew and grew. And I think the reason why the school itself has been so successful is she took on board most of the kids that weren't from a, you know, solid financial background. A lot of them were on grants, but she just recognised these talents in kids. And if you look at the people that she produced from the school, I mean, Amy Winehouse, she was the person that got Amy Winehouse into music. You know, because at a theatre school, you're kind of pushed to do more sort of acting and musical theatre, which was very much what I wanted to do. But she sent her down the path of music. Rita Ora, Billie Piper, Samantha Womack, the All Saints Girls,
How big was it
Girls.
by the time you'd gone there? Had it been around for a while, the school?
It had been, but it was actually, when we look back at my year, and I do this quite often with Sylvia, it is quite amazing how many of us have gone on to work and continue to work. There was like this little group of women that, you know, we look now and we go, how is it that we're all still doing it? But I think maybe we fed off each other because it was kind of like, it was competitive, but in a good way.
How old were you when you went there?
I was 11.
And you stayed through to late teenish, do you?
No, I left when I was 16 because I was working. But I wasn't supposed to go to a theatre school. I ended up, I went to a convent school, which suited me very well.
Oh, yeah? Did it keep you under control?
I got in trouble all the time. And then I got into Les Miserables when it first opened in the West End in London. And my school at the time, they said to me that I wouldn't be able to do it because I wasn't allowed the time off to do the show. So I was like, how do I make this work? And the only solution was to go to a theatre school. So I kind of went to Sylvia's. It wasn't part of the plan. It was meant to be a temporary thing. And I was only supposed to go for the duration of doing Les Miserables. But then I just kept working, and then I just loved it. And tell me,
a minute ago you mentioned that obviously one of the good things about Sylvia's was that they had a lot of kids on grants. And I believe, were you on a grant or were you, I know you certainly weren't one of the wealthy kids there, were you?
No, I actually paid for my own schooling.
But out of the jobs you were doing?
Yeah, so everybody always says, well, we've got a really strong work ethic, but I do honestly think it's because when I was a kid, every job I went for, some kids would go for it and, you know, they just wanted to get the job because it pleased their mum or dad. I went because I was like, if I don't get this job, I'm out of this school. So it was my driving force behind everything that I did. And I think it's stuck with me. Even now, my friends laugh at me because I'm lucky, you know, I've worked consistently for years, but every time I do a job, I sort of laugh to myself and go, oh, that'll pay for a new patio, that'll pay for new curtains. Because it's just how I'm wired, I guess, from being a child. It was like every job I get, I mentally think, right, what will this cover? And this will cover next term school fees.
And I guess, I mean, aside from having the work ethic, I mean, no matter how successful you are in this line of business, you still never really know if it's going to be your last job. Absolutely. And I also love the job that I do. I meet very interesting people like yourself and just have a really nice time. And I think if I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't do it. Sometimes it doesn't really feel like work for me because it's such a nice environment to be in. Don't get me wrong, I do work really hard and people are quite surprised. There's a lot of travelling, there's a lot of time spent on your own. I'm constantly on my phone, which is probably really annoying for a lot of my friends and family, but I'm a businesswoman at the end of the day and I'm running my business.